The rim of Greenland is quite green. In fact, there are places where there are trees this high. But not where we were. They're all this high. So, of course, the old joke is if you get lost in a Greenlandic forest, this works for Iceland too. Just stand up. I would start with those zingers. So, to get there, there's been various ways over the years that we've gotten there. Sometimes we've chartered flights from Baffin Island across to Greenland. That's gotten very expensive. For 1 or 2 years, Greenland Air actually had a flight from Baltimore directly to Greenland. They canceled that 1 year just as we were getting ready to go. Other years we've had to go as far as Copenhagen and fly back to Greenland. This year, however, they instituted a new flight, Greenland Air, who's not very dependable. This year, they instituted a new flight from Iceland to Ilulissat, Greenland, which is very close to where we wanted to go. And lo and behold, we grabbed the last 10 tickets on that flight, and when we got there, of course, there were about 12 empty seats. But that's Greenland Air for you. So we fly to Iceland on Iceland Air. We get off in Reykjavik for a day or two. Sarah will tell you, or Chuck will tell you a little bit about that. And then fly over to Ilulissat, which is across the island of Greenland, over the ice cap, get some great views. I think as we were looking down, it was so white. I said to one of our people, that's really intense white light. What's the word for it? Luminosity, or there's a... albedo? What is it? Albedo? Albedo, that's it. Oh, yeah. Intense albedo. I almost said libido. Bad. Intense albedo. Very white. But anyway, that's one of the problems, of course, in Greenland is the albedo is down because of dust showing up. Anyway, Chuck can talk about that more too in global warming. So we want to get going because we don't have a lot of time. We want to save some time for questions. We're going to kind of split the slideshow up a little bit. As you can see, Chuck. Thanks a lot. Chuck is our lead-off slide. We probably want to get rid of some lights back here if we can. I'm just going to show you a couple maps first. Oh no! Oh no! What happened to? Oh, I unplugged it. Oh no! That's the worst thing that could happen. Lost it. Yeah. Let's see. Hey!
So you stand in the wood.
Yeah. Okay. I'll stand in the wood. Okay. How about focus? Is that?
That one's just a little blurry, but I think the next one's.
Okay. That's good. It's your camera. Okay. Here's a map of Greenland. The green stuff, the colored stuff around the edges is where there's plants. The white thing is the middle is a continental glacier, the last of 2 continental glaciers in the world, and it's shrinking a little bit. This is a map of our route, which is out of Uummannaq. Uummannaq is this little island right here. You fly actually by helicopter to that little island. The main airport is 10 miles away in a town called Karsut.
Hey Steve, you should go back to the previous slide and show where the...
I'll show you where it is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is Ilulissat, which where we fly to is here in Disco Bay. And then Uummannaq is that little red dot right there on the other side of the Narsarsuaq Peninsula. So about halfway up in Greenland, it's 71 degrees north, or almost 71 degrees north. It's above the Arctic Circle by 300 miles. The sun in June, May, June, July really never sets at that latitude. So here's the map, the close-up map of our route. This is a couple different years that I've done this. We've done different routes, but basically our route is down in these fjords, in and out of all these little fjords around the ice cap and back to a pickup point. We actually started way back in here in Mitsuwatsiak Fjord. We paddled this direction, got picked up here. We probably paddled about 40 miles over 12 days. It's very easy paddling, a lot of hiking. You'll see that the hiking is quite incredible. So we paddled probably 4 days, had 4 campsites, and hiked a lot. So I'm going to turn it over to Chuck, who's going to tell you a little bit about the beginning of our trip. This one right here on the right.
I don't want to waste too much time on this, but Reykjavik is a modern cosmopolitan...
Louder, please. Louder.
Reykjavik, Iceland, modern cosmopolitan city. It looks like Denmark, I guess.
On the right.
You gotta get a little close. You too.
Okay, this is, the crew included Mary Shedd, who's a Forest Service executive here in Superior, Sarah and I, Bill, who's a former executive director of the National Outward Bound School and a captain of industry. They have great seafood restaurants in this town. And this is Russ, who's also a captain of industry. And nice shopping in the town. And it looks a little like, the building and architecture looks a little like Denmark. This is flying to, from Iceland to Greenland. And this is the volcano where they filmed
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
1960s. Everybody see that?
But Iceland, because of the volcanic nature of the place, they get all their heat geothermally. So they probably the most energy efficient place in the world. This is flying across the sea to Iceland. This is polar sea ice drifting in the east side of Greenland. There's a whole issue of the National Geographic about Greenland as the ground zero of global warming. You can talk about global warming, it's hard to visualize, but if you see the ice melting and you know how much of it and how much faster it's melting now than it did, that's a dramatic illustration. One of the things that happens is on the top of the ice cap, these lakes form and then the water flows down through moulins or cracks to the base, and that helps to lubricate the flow of the glacier, so they're really moving about twice as fast now as they have in history. This is the Ilulissat ice fjord originating at the Ilulissat Glacier, and if there's time we'll talk about that further, but it is the largest glacier in the Northern Hemisphere. It's larger than all the rest of the glaciers in the Northern Hemisphere put together. It drains 10% of the subcontinent, and it's moving at about 125 feet per day. And we flew to the face of this glacier. We are not landing on the glacier. That's Steve's. Okay, Sarah, you want to talk about some of this stuff?
Moving on.
This is Ilulissat.
Ilulissat. Yes. So here we are coming into the first place that we landed in Greenland, and it has, you can see the port here and sort of a marina, and we are so excited to be in Greenland. There's Chuck literally dancing. We had to land in first in Ilulissat, and there's our hotel, Arctic Hotel. And what you will see is all the buildings are built literally on rock. They're just sitting on top of rock. And these places exist because they have good harbors in an economy that is all fishing. I mean, all these people not so long ago lived at a subsistence level just fishing with dogs in the winter and with boats and kayaks in the summer. That's my daughter and Chuck at that harbor, and we did, you can see the city in the background, the town, but the houses are so colorful, and we thought that was because their world is so lacking in color, you know, in vivid colors. These are some funny little igloos our hotel built for extra rooms in the winter. One of our people, Mary Shedd, had spent a year in Greenland as an undergraduate 35 years ago in the tiny village of Karsut. And this man was 14 years old when she was there. He was her brother, as you often have when you live abroad. And she just showed up, and they were shocked. This is the house she lived in for over a year to study sled dog behavior and understand people there. So we flew to Karsut from Ilulissat because it's this tiny village, but it has a airstrip. The only way to get to Uummannaq was on helicopter, and we had to fly 2 different helicopters in order to get there because it's an island with